Well, everybody, welcome to this episode of the Teller County Sheriff's Office podcast. We're going to be talking with the folks that are doing the peer support program for the deputies of the Teller County Sheriff's Office. Now, one of the things that we want to make sure that the people of Teller County understands is that our deputies, they deal with a lot of pressure in their job, but people like who we have here at the table are there every day to make sure that they can deal with their problems and move on. So we're going to talk to them a bit, find out a little bit about them, find out what their vision is of peer support. And I want to start with Sergeant Mark Klein. Sergeant Mark Klein has been working on this forever, right?
It's been a bit. It's been a bit.
We've actually done previous podcasts with Sergeant Klein here. And I mean, this really, as important as this is, it's amazing what the work that you've put into it, as much as you've been able to get done with it.
Well, it's not just me. A lot of these guys here have put in as far as input as well. I mean, in regards to just volunteering to come out and show support for their fellow deputies, and going and doing the trainings that they needed to go ahead and accomplish in order to be able to support these deputies. I mean, a lot of us coming into this didn't know what peer support was.
Not at all. It wasn't even mentioned half the time.
Right.
Going into school, they never mentioned anything about peer support. It was always the negotiations for the outside of things, so not for internal.
Right.
Yeah.
I think a lot of that is because of how new this concept is. You know, if you talk to a lot of the people that have been around here for any significant amount of time, they're still maybe a little bit hesitant for a few, but also looking at it like something brand new, because this has never been the culture in law enforcement before, is to actually support each other and recognize that we do go through some stuff that isn't exactly pleasant. Previously, it's just been suck it up and move on.
You know, as we're sitting here talking, let me go around the table and have you all introduce yourselves. We'll start over here, and just let everybody know who you are, and maybe just a little bit about your background, maybe how long you've been here, what you see as far as the peer support program.
So I'm Deputy Nick Gerard. I've been with Teller County Sheriff for approximately 5 years now. I'm an instructor in 3 different courses, and I was peer support certified in October. So kind of like Deputy Mike D over here was saying, peer support is a very new concept. We're moving from the age where you're told to suck it up or, be a man kind of situation to now we have to communicate. We have to communicate when we go through hard situations and identify if there is an issue and know the resources that we have to guide these people.
Hello everybody, I'm Corporal Harris, Teller County Sheriff's Office. I've been here for just about 5, almost 6 years, working on 6 years. I got certified for peer support last year. What I will say is I wanted to do this personally so I could try to help not just other people but deputies in general. I think it's something that for the longest time was just overlooked. And the way we're evolving now and, adapting to today's age, I think it's a really cool concept that we're focusing on these matters for our fellow officers. And that's really why I wanted to get into this.
I'm Deputy Isabel Proctor-Michelin. I've been with the office for just shy of 2.5 years. I'm on the negotiations team, and I worked in the jail previously. Now I'm out on the road. And when I heard about the peer support initiative from Sergeant Klein, I thought it was a great thing. Wanted to use my background in psychology to be able to help my fellow peers, and the course was really great, and I love what we're doing, and I love how this idea is growing and how we're kind of getting the word out to our other coworkers.
Deputy Mike D. Been with Teller County coming up on 1 year now. When I first heard about this, I thought it was going to be an excellent opportunity. Love to be able to talk to people and be there for people anyways, but now actually being able to go through the training where I'm able to get people the resources that they need, that seems like a huge benefit to me, because everyone expects first responders to be there when you call, but who is there for first responders prior to a team like this?
Hey everybody, I am Deputy Alyssa Johns. I have been with the Teller County Sheriff's Office for coming up to 3 years. Previously, I started working here directly right after college, studying criminal justice. I got into this field wanting to help people. So when I heard about peer support, it fell very closely to that. And instead of just helping the community, it's helping my fellow peers as well, which, as everyone here has said, we're kind of been the overlooked section where we help other people, but we don't really help ourselves. So getting to be there for other deputies is a really great thing.
So one of the things that I'm seeing here is that the variety of backgrounds is fantastic. So that really gives a lot of different angles to look at a problem, or if a person needs something specific addressed. It sounds like between everybody that's here, you're going to have the ability to address that specific problem. I've known Mike for quite a while now, and I know that Mike does pretty much everything. If you've ever thought of something that can be done, yeah, Mike's probably done it. Yeah.
That's just life experience right there.
I mean, if you were, I guess maybe you haven't given birth, but
No.
I'm not sure about that yet. Other than that, I think you've done pretty much everything
About
else.
something?
No.
Well, let's look at, what is peer support in general, right? In all actuality, it's just about us sharing, right? We're out here sharing what information we have when it comes down to how we're feeling, what we're going through. I like to chalk it off to more like a buddy system. I mean, if Thee came in and just wasn't looking very good and was having a bad day, it's that simple, hey, how's it going? You okay, or whatever it may be. Once you get a little deeper into this, we start realizing that, there are things for us that are out there as far as resources. I just need a day off, right? I'm the resource at that point, right?
Yeah.
Hey, can I make that happen? Yeah, I can do that. Other things, when you start getting deeper into it, as we're having money problems, like what most of us have gone through at one point in time in our life, right? These guys are looking for advice or just a direction in which way I can go. How do I get past this? Where do I go? You run into individuals that have these issues that they just don't see the opening or that light at the end of the tunnel. And our job is just to kind of push them in that direction, right? Show them where it's at, kind of help them walk through it, especially if we've gone through those issues.
I always like to reference ourselves. We are the resource of resources. So
There you go.
if you don't know where you need to go, you can come to us and we'll help you figure out a way you need to go or want to go.
I think you brought something up earlier, Tommy, that really ended up, I think it was honestly by chance, but it ended up being a valuable asset to this team. That we have so many diverse backgrounds and personalities on this team that there's a good chance there's somebody on here that you'd be comfortable talking to. And I think that ended up being a very valuable tool for us.
Now, and this isn't the entire team. We've got two that, for whatever reason, one or the other commitments, whatever, they couldn't
Right.
be here today.
Three.
So there, three, is
Yeah,
that three?
three.
Oh, three.
Yeah.
Okay, so yeah,
Yeah.
in addition to the variety that we have here, there's even more.
Yep. We actually have one who is fairly new. I want to say that Sutherland's been here for approximately about a year and a half.
Yeah.
He's currently going through the police academy right now. And then you have Deputy Collins, who is much older, and is currently tied up at the courthouse. And John Taylor he's got to be at the parent-teacher conference today. So.
Yeah. So, so speaking of which, we have people that are family people that are dealing, or that have family issues that they have to work through, and they understand that. We have people that have been married and maybe aren't anymore, and you have people that have been single their whole lives. The whole gamut. So,
Right.
In dealing with those specific issues, you have that kind of variety. Then, like I said, Mike's done pretty much everything ever.
Right.
You said you have a psychology background?
Yeah.
Okay, it's like what is your background in that?
My background's in criminal psychology, so I have my bachelor's degree in that. And
Okay,
That's
okay.
why I wanted to get into law enforcement. So
Aren't you also working on your master's?
I'm starting it, but now going through the FTO process, I'm just drowning in all that material. So.
You need peer support?
I do, yeah.
So, but yeah, I mean, just the variety of experience, just life experiences, is just it's phenomenal that what you're bringing to to the peer support program here. So,
Right.
again, like I was asking before, can I just maybe kind of throw out there how people can access your assistance with peer support?
Yeah, so Deputy Johns has made a list with all of our phone numbers on it. She has put those in a couple locations here in the jail and here at the sheriff's office. And that way, if there's one that anybody sees potentially more of a connection to that they'd like to talk to, they can pick us out of that list. But it can be as simple as what Sergeant Klein started saying of like, hey, what's going on, buddy? And we just kind of get into a conversation. Maybe they just needed a conversation and that's it. Or they can text us and formally say, I need some peer support help. Can you help me out with that? And we'll be able to get going from there. We can find them resources, or just have a conversation if that's what they need.
So as part of your training, do they kind of show you how you can just approach somebody if you see that somebody may be having a problem, you go over and initiate that conversation with them?
Yeah, so some of the things that they've kind of taught us is, and a lot of it's, just everyday stuff that we do on a daily, realizing the little things, like if it, somebody that is usually real talkative, laughy, loves to be around people, and all of a sudden he's kind of separated, or they have separated themselves from other people. They've kind of withdrawn almost. They've kind of trained us to look at those oddball things where it's like, no, this isn't like this particular person. I'm going to try to approach him, talk to him. Maybe he just needs somebody to listen to for a little bit, or something like that. And that's where you really kind of build that connection with the other deputies when you approach them yourself. I mean, not necessarily putting the ball in their field all the time, but approaching them, going, hey man, I'm noticing some odd things lately. Are you doing okay? How's the wife? How's the kids? How's life outside of work? Just building that basic communication with them to form that bond, to get them to, if something is happening, getting them that help they need, or, rather maybe they don't even need resources, maybe they just need somebody to talk to,
I think piggybacking off of what Corporal Harris is saying as well, we're also taught to kind of be more aware to like critical incidents that are happening, and it really helps that like some of us are working in the jail, some of us are out on the road, and then other guys are in court and transport. So we kind of know what all's been going on in each division. So if there is some like really difficult call that someone's on, or some situation that happened in the jail that could potentially like really, affect someone's psyche, we know what's going on, so we can kind of reach out to those people before things might get bad.
We also do take referral. So if a coworker or a supervisor is noticing some of those things that maybe we haven't seen with somebody, or it's somebody we don't interact with, if they shoot us a text and say, hey, I think you should check on so-and-so, then we can reach out to them and check on them. And if they don't want to talk, that's fine, we'll back off. But it will at least start the initiation, showing them that there is resources available to them.
There are other things that we've been doing as well, as far as putting peer support out there. I mean, things like showing up to the trainings and discussing this with the deputies throughout all the trainings. We've come to a point where every training that we go to, we try to at least do some type of spiel of, hey, this is who we are, these are the individuals that are involved with it. If you want to talk to us, you can talk to us. These are the numbers. She created some flyers that we're going to start putting in a lot of the onboarding stuff with new deputies that are coming in. And like you and I were talking about, as far as like creating a video for somebody that, we can do for an onboarding. Right now, it's almost like marketing at this point, trying to get us out there. I think that just about everybody in the department right now understands that we do have a peer support team. We can even talk about some of the dysfunctional portions of what's perceived as far as peer support at this point, as far as like confidentiality, where is this going? What are we doing with it? Is this something that, am I just sitting here listening to somebody and then going to my next fellow deputy and going, hey, what happened? Everything that we discuss is confidential for the most part, right? There are a few things that we're mandated to report.
I mean, like if there's a body that wasn't
right,
there
if you told me, hey, there's a body, I'll come get duct tape and shovel and, no. But no, I mean, there's several different things that we do in regards to supporting our fellow deputies. You know,
Well, a couple of things that I wanted to kind of maybe hit on just a little bit. You were talking about assisting a friend, essentially. One of the things I think that's important to understand is that if you have a friend that you bring peer support in to assist, that is not a negative thing. You're not telling on them or anything like that. That is something that you're doing because they're part of your team, they're a friend of yours or something like that, and it's because you care that you're bringing them in, not because you're trying to dime them out. And then I would assume that with your training, that's the way you approach it. You approach it as, we are coming in to assist this person who cares for you.
a lot of it has to do with trying to head it off before it goes down that bad road.
Sure.
You know, to kind of put them in a direction or give them some advice that's going to help them out rather than go deeper into this dark shadow. So,
I think it's primarily because in law enforcement, you're exposed to so many bad situations, things that can affect your mental psyche. And instead of making people feel like they can't talk about it, we give them that resource of confidentiality of, you can talk to us and we are legally bound to not discuss it with anybody unless it's crimes against, others or kids, suicidal ideations, things of that nature, the big three. So aside from that, we are quite literally there for people to come to us.
And sometimes it's not even about giving advice, because sometimes when you want to talk to someone, it's not like you want them to give you a logical solution to their problem. It's more of them hearing you out and you being able to talk about it, and like by talking through it, you're able to process that. And sometimes someone has a completely different perspective, and they can really like just help change that in your head, if that makes sense.
We might not be there to solve their problems, but we're there to help with them solving their own problems.
exactly.
And we're more prone to understanding it because we work in the same line of work, we deal with the same long hours, same kind of stressful situations, so it's easier to talk to your fellow peers than to someone who doesn't work in this line of work at all, I think.
And I think the biggest part of peer support is what we all learned in training is if our job is pretty much we are to be there. That is pretty much the sole job. We are to be there. We are supposed to help whatever we need to do. Following confidentiality, making sure if it does cross that line, we still do it the correct way.
Now, where's this training conducted? Who conducts the training?
Well, there's several different trainings right now. The reason I had that look is because I was like, I forgot who it was that we trained with.
Okay.
Nicoletti.
Yeah, the Nicoletti firm. So these guys, they are psychologists.
Okay.
And they're helping us identify what we can do to kind of get to a point of, okay, we're obtaining some type of a solution, we're giving them some type of resource or whatever it may be. Or because of the fact that we aren't psychologists and we aren't counselors, we're not going to give them a diagnosis of, oh yeah, you're schizophrenic. We're going to point them in that direction of, hey, you know what, this is something I can't help you with, but I'll walk with you on this. Would you like to talk to somebody that does have the knowledge base to kind of help you out? And we can make those referrals to a psychologist. Everything, and going back to it, I mean, everything that I've done in law enforcement, okay, and I've been doing this for 20 plus years. I came from, like some of you guys that were in the military as well, remember back in the day of rub dirt on it.
Yeah.
We're good. We don't talk about our feelings. We don't talk about what's going on in our career. This could destroy our career should we mention something wrong, right? And we've kind of gone 180 degrees from that. It was the same way in law enforcement when I first started. Oh, you saw something very traumatic? Get over it. Every one of us have, And we started finding out that it wasn't truly affecting us, I mean, even for myself, I've had issues where I've gone and talked to other people to kind of get that help. What we've done with the peer support program is kind of brought something that we did, like I said earlier, as far as a buddy program, where, my partner may have said, hey, Mark, man, you're not acting right. What's going on? And that kind of helped get it off your chest, and like Deputy Proctor here said, some of it is just listening, letting you weed through everything that you're talking about, because if you're hearing it at that point, rather than just thinking about it, some of us, it makes it a little easier to come up with our own solution. And not only that, we're able to voice that solution. And that person that's there that's kind of helping you through this, you know, if it was he may go, that's probably not a good idea, but, or, hey, yeah, that sounds like a good idea. Let's meet up and go see what we can do about getting you taken care of, right? You didn't have this 20 years ago. You didn't.
I think a big focus of that 4-day training was also that like we can't help others unless we're in a good spot too. So a big portion of that training was just like focusing on our own self-care and how to like maintain this healthy work-life balance and kind of, you know, leave work at work type thing so that we are in this good mental state to help our fellow peers as well.
Right.
And I think it helps that we have such a close-knit team where, or as we were doing before the video actually started, joking around, making jokes before everything started, and that doesn't stop just outside of work. It goes, whatever I'm trying to say.
It doesn't stop at work, it goes to the outside.
Yes.
Okay. Well, you know, you had mentioned the military rubbed some dirt on it, take any face out.
Right.
The military, when they decided that this was a thing that they needed to pursue, they went way overboard and just shoved it right in your face. So it sounds like the way that you're doing it here, you've learned those lessons and you're more of a soft touch.
Yes.
It is. We're not trying to shove it down people's throats. We are just trying to get the word out of we are here if you need us.
Yeah, I think the closest thing to really getting in anybody's face about it that we do is at every training, we at least give a couple second little blurb of like, hey, I'm here, it exists, hit me up if you want it. And that's it.
That sounds like the right way to do it.
Yeah, otherwise we're very much so just stand off. Come to us when you're ready.
Yeah, and just to kind of add on what Johns and Thea have been saying, what's nice too is we have a lot of that support from the sheriff's office itself. I mean, they've done great things for us. They've made it to where, you know, we can put our numbers on a pamphlet, so that way if somebody wants to call us any time of the day or night, you know, we're readily accessible. And we've been approved to accept those phone calls, even if we're up shift, even, you know, we're always there. So if somebody
24/7.
24/7.
365 days a week.
Yeah.
Well, that's a lot of days a week.
That's a lot of days a week.
But,
English is
you
hard,
know,
guys.
For those deputies, officers, whoever they may be, firefighters, EMS, if they don't want to, you know, physically come to us, maybe they just want to go, hey, you know, I want to talk about this, but I don't want to do it during work. Maybe I'll wait till my off time. They can give us a call then. You know, we're always available. And I think that's the nice thing. That's the thing I personally like, is because with deputies, with numerous different officers and deputies, people all around are different. You know, some people want to talk about stuff, but they don't want to talk about it right now. Others are like, hey man, I got to pump the brakes on everything and I need to talk about this and get this off my chest. So I like how much freedom we have on this team to be able to do all those things we need to really look after everybody.
Well, as far as things we're going to do to start getting some publicity out there for the team, sometime here soon, probably May or June, we are going to be having a peer support barbecue.
That's
And
right.
that way
Absolutely.
the
Come
entire
It's all about
office
the
is going to be
barbecues.
invited.
I've had
both
this
sides.
barbecue. It's
Very excited.
Peer support or not, I'm coming for the barbecue.
Yeah,
And it's
but,
not just going to be burgers and hot dogs. I think we've
No,
talked
I
about
think-
brisket, pork
yeah,
butt.
brisket, pork butts, pork bellies, chicken, and we're going to do burgers and dogs too, just to make it easy. So,
Come out and eat. We'll have a date coming up here soon.
yep.
Maybe we'll sit down and we'll do another little podcast and
Yeah.
barbecue.
Yep. Yep. And we do plan on doing events like this pretty regularly, at least once, twice a year, either doing barbecues. We've even discussed some alternate ideas of like, what if we had some kind of shooting competition or, you know, just something,
Absolutely.
just keep getting people involved, keep reminding people that we're here, come out, have some fun, have some food, have some laughs, and that's it, you know.
Keeps people engaged and lighthearted.
Yep.
Then we'll also be at a lot of the already Teller Sheriff's Office events, like the open house, National Night Out.
yeah.
Those ones. A lot of us show up to the Christmas party and law enforcement banquet anyways, so we're around.
We'll be on a lot of
So-
events.
And a lot of, and if somebody wanted to talk to you, it doesn't have to be right then. It can be like, hey, can I talk to you later?
Yeah.
Yeah, they can text us,
come and
call
see you.
us,
Sure, yeah.
hit us up in person.
Oh yeah. Like I said, we're always available, and I personally like that freedom of just being accessible whenever. Giving people that opportunity to be like, okay, well, maybe I do want to talk to somebody, but I'll give it a couple days, and maybe I'll talk to them when I'm off tour.
Well, I mean, and
Having
here's-
that freedom's nice.
Here's the other thing, I mean, if you're looking at it as far as another question that we're looking for, is how do you guys take care of yourselves? I mean, obviously, we're going to be in contact with several different deputies, several different individuals in regards to dealing and listening to all these problems that eventually it's going to catch up to us, right?
Yeah.
I think
So,
the easy answer is through peer support. We can peer support with each other, and it's identifying ourselves and when we might need to reach out. And we know the resources that we can reach out to.
and Deputy Proctor brought it up as well, and she kind of hit it there on the nose. I mean, taking that time for ourselves and understanding who we are, and that's part of what we had as far as our trainings go. Knowing when we need to say when, right? When do we
This
sit
is-
down and go, hey, it's time for me. I need somebody to talk to.
This is definitely one of the areas that we have to practice what we preach.
Right.
If we're going to tell other people, man, go fishing, go hunting, go take a walk, spend some time with your kids, whatever, we have to be doing that stuff because we will absolutely burn out if we do not take the time to pay ourselves. And I think that's the biggest thing that we end up talking to other people about too is like, when's the last time you did something fun?
Yeah.
Exactly,
When's the
yeah.
last time you did something you enjoyed instead of just what you have to do?
When was the last time for you?
Yesterday.
Don't ask him what it was. He doesn't remember.
I had some drinks, did a barbecue. It was good.
You didn't invite us to your barbecue?
I didn't invite anybody in all fairness. I barbecued for me.
You asked me, but I was at work.
No, yeah, I did send out a text. I thought I
He
texted.
did reach out.
So really, let me kind of close out by thanking all of you for what you've chosen to do with the peer support. It's hugely important, and I would assume that most of us have needed somebody at one point or other. I certainly have. And to have that person is so valuable. So thank you all for what you're doing. Thank you, Sergeant Klein, for all of the background work that you've put into this. I mean, it's been, gosh.
It's been a little
long
bit, but
time.
again, I can't take the credit for everything on this. I mean, if I didn't have the team that I have right now, we wouldn't be where we're at today.
So if you're a deputy and you need some peer support, please, these people are here for you. If you are a member of the Teller County populace whose deputies or who our deputies are out supporting you, know that you have the best and most efficient deputies because of people helping them, like the people that we have at these tables. So with that, we'll go ahead and close out. Thank you, everybody, for coming out today and
Thank you.
joining us here for this podcast. And look forward to other podcasts on the subject. And really with that, have a great day, Teller County. We'll talk to you later.
Bye.
I'm gonna need some peer support for all my bloopers here. I'm trying to pull my leg.